trim this. It's breaking it more than cutting it, but this is probably not the best test material.
Welcome, my friends from the internets. Survive with Knife here again with another knife review. Actually, this is a machete review. This is the SOG SOGfari. This is the 13-inch model. I believe they do have a larger model, 17 inches, 19 inches, something around that nature. But this is the 13-inch one. So let's just get right into it. The handle material, what is that? It's made up of craton. It's got the same texturing, if you're familiar with the other knife I just reviewed. Let's bring it out. The SOG Mini Trident. You'll notice that the handle texturing is similar, the way they've textured the handle. The handle is very comfortable. It's a craton handle. It has 3 points for attaching lanyards. Now, I'm not really sure what the reason would be to attach a lanyard up here, but you can do that if you want to. Now, there's some people that do use it that way, but there is another lanyard hole back here also. There is a striking pommel right here, right there, which would definitely do some damage. Jimping, well, that's the next thing on my checklist. This doesn't really qualify for a machete, so we can skip over that. Blade steel. The steel on this knife is 3CR13, stainless steel from China. Similar, I believe, to 420, 420C, if I remember correctly, 420A. So not the greatest steel out there, but definitely can do the job as a machete at least. The Rockwell hardness on this blade, since it is a machete, is 52 and 53, which is much softer than a typical knife blade would be, but that's because this is a machete. This needs that flexibility to absorb the impact. Actually, there is very little vibration in using this blade, and I'll roll in some footage of me actually using the blade.
Let's see how it does with sharpening this point. Getting it in the dirt there a little bit. Kind of getting a point put onto that. It is actually doing a pretty good job. It does not have the chopping ability of a larger machete, that's definite, but it is doing well for a blade of its size. It's actually fairly sharp for a machete, and it's not incredibly sharp, but I was actually able to slice paper with it. You notice the paper there did tear a little bit. Let's see if we can do that again. So there you can see it kind of tore there at the end, but it can slice paper, so it's pretty sharp, adequately for a machete. Even though I would probably like to sharpen this a little bit more. I'll probably put a little bit more of an edge on this yet, but for its role, it's adequate. The blade length
is, as I mentioned, almost 13 inches, 12.9 inches, and the overall length of the blade is 18.95, almost 19 inches long overall, full length. The weight of this thing of the knife is comes in at 13 ounces. So it's got a little bit of heft to it, at least enough to make it a fairly good chopper when it comes to clearing debris, clearing branches, and clearing a path through brush, jungle type brush, jungle type knife. It does serve well in that particular role. Ergonomics, the handle is very comfortable. Feels the Kraton handle does take away the vibrations quite well, and I'll roll in some footage again of using the knife, but it does absorb the vibrations quite well, which is a complaint I have had with some machetes, and this does that quite well. The sheath on this knife, it's a nylon sheath with a plastic insert along the back here to protect the sheath from the serrated, useless saw back on this knife, which I'll show you guys that saw edge there is basically not of much use, at least for cutting wood. I mean, it would take a lot of the pocket folding saws out there will do much better than this saw blade here.
Well, I can't say that that's the best saw I've ever used. This is some hard wood. I think this is live oak, actually. Yes, I believe that's what it is. So, not the best saw I've used. It would work in a pinch, but I definitely wouldn't want to have it as my only saw.
When I get down to the roll, the roll of this knife, which actually is the next thing I do want to talk about, in zombie apocalypse, that serrated edge might be useful. You take off a zombie's head with one swipe this way, you bring the blade back, and you take off another one's head with the serrated edge. So, and then you strike a third with the pommel. So in a zombie apocalypse, the SOG SOGfari is definitely a winner. If it comes down to close quarters combat with zombies, I'm definitely going to be grabbing this. So when it comes to this knife, when it comes to tactical self-defense, I guess it's a big blade. So like I said, in a zombie apocalypse, I will be grabbing this. When it comes to traditional tactical self-defense, probably not. This is not going to attach to my tactical vest, or basically this is going to carry in my backpacking bag if I'm going to be in an area where I'm going to need to be able to clear brush in order to get through and so forth. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to be using this too much. And that's where it comes down to what can this knife do in a survival situation. Wood processing, chopping up small branches and so forth for a fire, yes, it will work in that way. Anything much larger than maybe 2-inch diameter wood and so forth it's probably fairly useless in that role. It really just does not have the capabilities of let's roll in a couple other knives here. Let's bring in the always awesome Cold Steel Trailmaster, an excellent survival blade. Another one that has been a mainstay with me for quite a while is the K-Bar Heavy Bowie. That's an awesome knife. You see that has quite a bit of use on it. Done quite a bit of batoning with this, and taken this on several trips. So it's a great knife. So they're just different roles. This is a machete. Those are large, thick-bladed survival knives. So they just don't work in the same role. Where I might grab this in a zombie apocalypse, my Cold Steel Trailmaster may stay back because it's got more reach, and so it is good as a brush clearing jungle type knife. Shelter building, it would be adequate with shelter building. Food preparation, it's probably just too large for that. This is not really a hunting knife either, so it doesn't really fit into that role. It's not really much of a utility knife either. Maybe if you needed to clear, clear some brush around the house or whatever, that it could work, I guess, in that role, but in that type of utility role. But basically, this is a survival blade used for clearing brush, maybe some shelter building, and some small wood processing, and could be pressed into a tactical role in a zombie apocalypse. But that is its role. It does have a cool factor. It does just look bad. It looks badass. I mean, just look at that. You whip that thing out, and somebody's going to think you have something. Price is also excellent. I believe these MSRP around $27 or something like that. I think I picked this up at Walmart for $20. So price, you can't beat that, for a machete. But it's a machete with a basically useless saw blade on the back. So there we go. That's the SOG SOGfari. Later, guys.
Let's see how this thing works at cutting down some cattails. Got right through there, one slice. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Works well on small vegetation. Now cattail is pretty easy to cut through, but it does a pretty good job on that.